since the beginning of the sunrise of Facebook advertising, if we can say it this way, there have been more and more marketers who have been talking about going back to the basics of the offline marketing.
Welcome to another amazing episode of the Tech Business Roundtable podcast, brought to you by Equa.tech, the leader in digital marketing for tech companies. We want to first take a moment to thank you for sharing this podcast with your friends and on social media and helping us grow week after week. Meet our host of today's TBR episode, Ryan Davies. Ryan is the Director of Marketing of Equa.tech and is a dynamic leader in driving business transformation through technology. Over to you, Ryan.
Welcome, everyone, to the Tech Business Roundtable podcast show. This is a podcast show dedicated to shining a spotlight on tech innovators, entrepreneurs, founders, and the compelling narratives behind the movements they've established. I'm your host, Ryan Davies, and I'm hosting today's discussion on marketing in the digital age with Bogomil Stoev. Bogomil, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you very much for having me, Ryan. It's an amazing pleasure to be here.
I'm already excited. We had a good chat already coming into this. We're both dads with young ones and everything. The energy is high already, even before starting this podcast. And so I'm really excited to go through this one. A little bit about Bogomil to start. 15 years ago, he really got into digital marketing, and that's really what he still loves to do. He's been an affiliate marketer, a digital marketing specialist, and a consultant. He's really an expert in conversion rate optimization. He's been a CMO. He's been a podcast host. So, and this comes naturally to him. You'll see here, this is his wheelhouse. But, he says one of the things that his career found him, it was a great path for him. And he has created Commenter.ai, which is a revolutionary AI-powered ecosystem for commenting on LinkedIn, bringing creative, authentic, and meaningful comments that people notice, really helping, again, grow brands, potentially attract new clients. And I think that makes a great fit for, somebody here to talk to about marketing in the digital age and how things are so rapidly changing. Bogomil, I want to turn it over to you before I go any further, though. Anything else in the background or bio you want to color up or touch on for us that I missed there?
I think that you almost covered everything. I'm not here to show off or anything like that, just maybe a little. So the one thing that maybe we should add is that I'm also a best-selling author about e-commerce digital marketing. So like you said, my life has been always around digital marketing, but e-commerce digital marketing has helped me tremendously to grow. And thanks to it, I have been able to build and scale two of my brands, which I consider as a big success in my experience.
That's incredible. So let's start right with the basics, right? What is digital marketing, right? So it's been around for decades now, right? Since almost the existences or course the evolution of the internet, right? So it's using the internet to be able to promote products and services. But for you, how do you view digital marketing? And like as a let's start with the first basic building block for people here with that side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So digital marketing is everything that is happening online, like every activities that you are doing, trying to attract people to your website, to your offer, to just come and buy from you. This includes content marketing, writing articles, SEO, optimizing your content to be picked up by Google, paid ads, social media marketing, all types of activities that you can do to actually grow and expand your business. And with the recent, trends of AI, this digital marketing has been changed tremendously, and it will be changed even more in the future when more and more marketers start using it.
So yeah, I mean we're going back to what was first search engine was what was it, Archie in 1990. The first clickable ad was in 1993. So this isn't anything new, right? We're 30 years into the history of digital marketing, but the evolution has been quite different in terms of how brands are using it to attract people, to target and retarget, things along those lines, right? So how have you seen the evolution? I mean, we don't need to go back to 1993, but even in the past, few years, what do you see as kind of that evolution of digital marketing and where people are getting the most value out of it?
Yeah, so from what I see, it started with Facebook taking a good piece of this pie, like Facebook advertising, people jumping there, making tons of money with simple ads. Then it moved to, I would say, more type of content marketing, people engaging more with each other, till we reach the point today where I have a feeling that people need to have more trust in the company. They need to get more value from the company before they buy. Of course, there are some products that are exceptions, but most of the products, they need this sort of value building before you start selling to them. And we know from marketing, and this has been for many years, that actually, when you start advertising, there are probably not more than 5% of people that are ready to buy from you. And the other 95%, they just don't know that they have this problem, or they just don't know that there is a solution for their problem. And when you're trying to be hard with your ads that are saying buy, 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 you're actually attracting only this 5% and you're losing the other 95%. So if we imagine what this means in numbers, like if we say that you can make 1 million, you're actually making just 5,000
Yeah,
or something like that.
$50,000 out of that, right? Is that what that would
50,000,
be?
yeah.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Actually, yeah, you're losing the other 950,000 to focus on this 50,000. I'm not the best in numbers, but I'm great in how to write the things
Yep.
to convert. But there is something very interesting that I want to mention. Of course, I'm not talking about how AI is jumping heavily in the marketing side and how it is helping us tremendously to make our life better and easier, I would say, from the marketing side point. But I have noticed something very interesting. I don't know if you have noticed that, but since the beginning of the sunrise of Facebook advertising, if we can say it this way, there have been more and more marketers who have been talking about going back to the basics of the offline marketing, of selling mail to your mail, not to your email, but to your mail, and using newspaper ads, for example, magazine ads, and things that have been working tremendously well in the past. But since the digital era has started, let's say only or at least most of these who have been using such type of advertising have been the old school marketers, and not that many like me, for example, who are from this digital era generations. But now I see more and more marketers are actually going back to that for one reason or another. So this is a very interesting finding that I see quite exciting.
Very interesting. I mean, yeah, I guess fashion trends come around, music trends come around, maybe even marketing trends come around again, right? But I could see that because, in the offline world, that's like you said, it's now underutilized. Maybe it's a differentiator. You could stand out there in digital marketing. What a crowded marketplace to try to stand out, right? And you can see that with Google making $250 billion a year because they can charge for ads, and it's higher and higher cost per click and cost per impression and everything else, right? So with that in mind, digital marketing, two-sided coin, right? I always like to say that. First, you have to get found by somebody before they'll ever choose you. And then once you're found, where your expertise also come in is, why would they ever choose you? You have to convert those people that have found you, right? So tell me a little bit about that journey and the challenges that people, I think, maybe some people are just, it's good enough to be found and I don't really care, or, hey, I've built this great thing. I know why people would choose me, but I'm invisible here. So tell me about that journey for digital marketers as well, and how you have to, how important that is for brands to embrace.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned, first people should find out that you exist. There are different ways to do that, the free and the paid way.
Mhm.
The free way is through different types of content. It can be your website, it can be using social media where there is already the traffic. You just need to find your way there. And the other way is the paid way. Like there are many ways to utilize such advertising: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn ads, Google ads, all type of ads. But there is something interesting that I'm also seeing recently, especially when we are always talking about AI these days. I have a feeling that even the taxi drivers, they're very familiar with AI and they're thinking how they can use it in their day-to-day life. So for me, this means that somehow AI has become mainstream. So because of that, we know all the fears around it, like you're going to lose your job, it's going to replace you, and things like that. But actually, we know that with AI, there will be also many opportunities. And when we talk about the digital marketing, look, the reality is that now, because of AI, your digital marketing activities can be replicated just like that in one day, or even 1 week if it is that complicated. So it's very hard to be different for long enough. That's the problem that I see these days. That's why when I consult companies these days, and people who are companies or just solopreneurs, I tell them this: people are looking to do more business with people. There was a research that I checked very recently, but I don't remember when it was, which is saying that people are less and less loyal to the brands these days, and it is much often seen they to jump from one brand to another. I don't know if you have noticed that, but there is a research about it. So what I'm telling to all these that I'm consulting is that you need to start working more on growing your personal brand. You have a company, that's great, but people want to do business with the people from this company, not with the company, right?
Right.
So one of the ways to get noticed is to actually show that you exist on these social media platforms and be a human, be person, and start growing your personal brand. And when people see how great human you are, they will jump on your company if, of course, what you offer can solve their problems.
Totally makes sense. I mean, I think everybody's looking, especially in today's world, right? We're talking about inflation, we're talking about everything else that's going on, and wages, and like you said, job security. Value, I think, has replaced brand loyalty these days, right? So using digital marketing to be able to express that value that you can provide to customers, whether it's a B2C or a B2B, whatever it is, that's a huge thing. And you talked about trying to stand out, right? How difficult that is in terms of being original and whatnot. And I know you said, you're not always about a sales pitch or anything like that, but I want to talk about Commenter.ai because for me, that's the definition of differentiator, right? So we don't have to talk about it specifically, but also a little bit specifically. But let's talk about like the idea behind that of having a product or having a service that can help brands network and do something different from a digital branding, digital marketing perspective, right? So I'm not going to put words in your mouth or anything, but is that kind of the thought process that you came up with for how brands can, really elevate that digital marketing game?
Exactly. In the beginning of the year, actually, in the end of the previous, around December, we have been talking with my co-founder that we have been noticing more and more people talking about how they have achieved their business goals on LinkedIn with the help of comments. But there was a problem. Neither me or my co-founder have been commenting much or at all for a long time. And when I say long time, I'm saying almost 2 years.
Okay.
And and we haven't achieved much on LinkedIn. So we thought to ourselves, so maybe this is an opportunity for us to see the power of commenting, and let's try to solve our problem in one way or another. So after this meeting, a few weeks after that, my co-founder called me and said, I have found a solution. We talked about the AI, how we can make it. Then, of course, we started working on that, and we discovered that actually, if you want to grow your personal brand, there is no way to do it without comments. It's not possible, which is great. But on the other side, most people don't know that. They think that LinkedIn is a resume website where you write how great you are, and then people jump on your profile, start sending you connection requests and DMs to start working with you or to hire you. But the reality is that even if you are the best sales, let's say, in the world, or if you have the solution for the biggest problem that the world has, nobody will find you because nobody knows that you exist.
Right.
The way to, right?
Yeah.
The way to make people to notice you, because this is what we talked about, like the first step is people to notice you, to know that you exist, is to start posting content or comments. But the problem with the first is that like in your followers in the beginning, they're going to be your friends, your family, your colleagues. And I doubt that in this community, there are your buyers or your investors.
Right.
Or whatever you're looking on LinkedIn, right? So even if you write the best post in the world about something you do, your reach will be very, very limited, and chances others to notice you and your content and how great you are very slim. That's why I have been preaching this for a long time. Of course, I have been researching this for the last 9 months, and I can 100% stay behind my words. And it is that when you are starting on LinkedIn, it's actually better to start commenting than writing content. And this may surprise many people, but let me repeat what I said a few seconds ago. When you post the content and you have a small followers base, your reach is limited. But you, with your comments, you can grow your reach exponentially, because with your comments, you can go in the audience of every person that you engage with. And this is your opportunity to shine. And when you engage with someone, they see part of your headline. And if you write it in a great way, you will attract them to your profile. And this is how you start the connections. And the opportunities will start knocking on your door. And that's why like commenting is getting more and more needed if you want to achieve some goals on LinkedIn. But if you just want to post content because you love writing and things like that, forget about commenting. It's not for you, even though you will become a better content writer when you start commenting. And this is just one of the benefits. But if you want to achieve your business goals, you need to comment more. And I'll give you one more reason. Recently, there has been an update of the algorithm of LinkedIn. Now it has more than 1 billion users. And it has been getting more and more people that are writing content. And because of that, their impressions are going down for almost everyone. And second, LinkedIn has started pushing its premium program, which is the paid program, paid subscription of LinkedIn. And because of it, when you start on LinkedIn, you can send just 10 connection requests per month. So if you want others to use their 10 connection requests, go and engage with them. And then they will come and use their 10 connection requests to connect with you. And this is how you have unlimited amount of connection requests.
That's brilliant. I love that because yeah, I mean, when we're talking about marketing in the digital age right now, right? It's we talk to people who great. Maybe we're talking there's listeners here that are part of, huge enterprise Fortune 100 corporations and things like that where you go, well, this isn't, necessarily an issue for me. But a lot of our listeners are in startups, they're in small service industries, maybe they're a dentist's office that's trying to level up their digital marketing, or they're part of a med spa, or part of a whatever it is, right? There's all sorts of different ways where you go, well, I need to do this cost efficiently, or you're a small tech company, I'm starting up, I need to do this cost efficiently, I need to get my message out there. Like we said, you got to get found and you got to have people choose you. This kind of combines those two things of being able to be creative in ways where they can find you because you're putting yourself out there more and more, you're creating exposure, but then also showing why people should choose you and talk to you and connect and network with you, right? So, I think that's a lot about what the evolution of digital marketing is. It used to be have a web page, then it was have a web page and optimize it, right? So now you got to optimize it and create content and show expertise and authority and trustworthiness and all these pieces that Google loves to see so that you rank. So it's leveling up and more and more. We've talked a little bit about it with AI. What else do you see the future of digital marketing holding? Like when you are consulting with people, what are the things where you're saying, great, if you really want to get ahead, besides the things like the commenting and besides using, all of the tools that we've discussed about, are there things out there that you're noticing that are, hey, great, these are really tools that should be table stakes these days, but people haven't quite embraced them yet, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't start naming companies,
Yep.
AI tools that can be helpful, but I will say one thing: AI won't replace you, but people that use properly AI will replace you. So that's why when I consult someone or just sharing free advice, I always say start learning how to properly use AI or just ChatGPT, because very soon you won't be effective enough. And those that use properly the right AI tools, they will outsmart you and they will be more effective than you, and they'll achieve more because of that, and they will steal your job. So AI won't become the best marketer and do everything by itself, at least for now. Maybe in 10, 20, 30 years, it may start doing that. But for now, I don't see this happening. But like I said, those that are using it properly, they will be those that will replace us. And one thing I want to mention, because of AI, and because of all the people that are big fans of it and they have started using it in their digital marketing activities, and like I already said, because of AI, all marketing campaigns, they may be replicated pretty easily. It doesn't cost a lot to do that, and it doesn't take a lot of time. But there is one thing that no AI can't replicate, because you can hire the same influencers in most of the cases. You can hire the same websites to post your ads. You can hire the same guest posters to write the guest post for you when you know what your competitor is doing. But there is one thing that no competitor can do, and it is to steal your personal brand. No AI can do that, and there will be no AI that can do that. That's why it is getting more and more needed to start building your personal brand now, and not just count on your amazing product with your amazing features, because in 1 week your product can be replaced. There are very small chances not to be able to be replicated by AI tool. So that's why it is getting more and more important people to start showing up more and more, no matter if it is LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, but to be out there and show their authority, knowledge, experience, tips to the world, so people can start falling in love with them.
I love it. That's fantastic. I wanted to wrap up there, but now I have another one I have to ask because I think it's just so incredibly important is brand identity, building your brand, easier said than done. When you're coaching someone to do that, right? We're focusing on, what is your purpose, first of all, and who are you? But it comes down to communicating that story, I think, right? And how do you coach people to do that, right? Because there's a lot of pitfalls in that. There's a lot of, people know what they do, but they don't know how to communicate it or whatever it is, or tell their story. How do you get someone to start there? I could talk to you for an hour here. So this is, I promise I won't keep you much more, but this question I think is really important because I think brand identity, brand purpose, brand messaging, like you said, is so key. How do you coach someone to start? We could do a whole podcast on it. How do you coach someone to start that?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to mention before I answer your question that currently I'm mainly coaching people about how to be great commenters.
Mhm.
I stay away from charging people for consulting about personal branding on LinkedIn, just because for me, commenting is the place where I think I can shine.
Yep.
But what I know that has worked for me, and based on my experience over the years, the first and most important question that most people forget, it may sound strange and probably it will surprise everyone, is not your brand. It's not your brand. It will never be about your brand. Actually, the thing that everyone should start, if of course he or she wants a long-term results, is to start with why. Why you want to build this brand? Why you want to be out there? Answer this question or to these two questions, and all the questions that start with why and are related to yourself. Then start working on your brand, and you'll see that it's very easy to figure out the other questions, because sometimes you ask your question, okay, I'm building this brand, how I'm going to show it to the world? And you can't answer this question. You start researching your competition, you start reading books, you start reading articles, and then you feel that something is missing, that this is not your brand, this is not how you want to look and how you want to present yourself. And the reason is that behind this brand, it's not you. It's the research, it's the competitors, it's the articles.
Like that.
It's not you. But when you have asked yourself the important why questions before you start this research, then you see your competitors are presenting themselves as a solution for the best mouse in the world. But you don't see that this actually makes sense with you. You want to look and show in front of the people as the brand that is helping people to protect their hands from being hours on their mouse. So for you, health is more important than building the most amazing mouse. But you wouldn't know that if you haven't answered the question why I want to do that. And when you know I do that because I want to help people to have better health, and this is what makes me wake up every morning, then all the brand questions will come very easy to you. Otherwise, you'll be struggling and you won't be feeling that you are doing the right thing. I'm not sure that I was able to answer your question in the most direct way, but I think
I think that was perfect because I've always gone by that same, with whether it's marketing or sales, I've gone by the same thing of the order of questions that you have to again provide value for is starting with why change? Why would you choose someone different? Why now? What would be the impact of doing it now? Why would you wait, right? And then why us? Why would you choose us? Not why us and then here So I think you're exactly right. If you can answer why people should change and the impact of doing it now, the why us becomes the natural story underneath it, right? I really like that. I think that's a great point to kind of close on from from that perspective. Bogomil, what I want to do though is I want to let people know how they can find you, how they can learn more about you, and tap into that knowledge and learn more about Commenter.ai as well. So tell our audience how they can get in touch with you. LinkedIn, I'm assuming, right? There you go.
Absolutely. I'm every day on LinkedIn sharing all that I know for free with my comments, with my posts. So, of course, in my DMs too. So if people want to know more about how to become better commenters, then they should check my profile and then ask me like specific questions. I'm more than happy to help them. And if they want to become better commenters, actually, they should start commenting more. And Commenter AI has been built with this idea to help people to become better commenters. And we have built an exclusive community where I am guiding people and giving feedback on their comments so they can become better commenters faster.
Perfect. I think that's a great place for us to close on. So Bogomil Soev, I want to thank you so much. Digital marketing specialist, consultant, and Commenter AI lead there. That is perfect, perfect guest for us to have for today on this. As I mentioned, I think we uncovered about another dozen podcast topics that we could continue on. So I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of each other on here. So we will be talking again, I hope. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining the Tech Business Roundtable today.
And thank you very much for having me and for the great questions. It was an amazing pleasure. I'm saying this again because I truly feel it.
Thank you so much. So thank you. Take a minute here to thank Bogomil one more time for this amazing podcast, Marketing in the Digital Age. And I also want to thank our listeners. We can't do what we do without you. So until we meet again with another TBR episode, I'm your host, Ryan Davies. Thanks so much. Take care out there.
Thank you, Ryan, for this amazing episode. Thank you for joining us on the Tech Business Roundtable podcast. We hope our discussions have sparked new ideas, expanded your knowledge, and empowered you on your entrepreneurial journey. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and write us a positive review. Thank you for listening to the Tech Business Roundtable podcast show.